Hey amateur equestrians. Today I wanted to share some information on a new saddle I got, which I think might help some of you guys out there if you're in the same boat I was. The saddle is the Macel Samba S Chazot saddle, and my background was hunter jumper. I spent 35 years as a hunter jumper rider, and we grew up in the late 80s and 90s riding on a flat slab of leather. There were no blocks, no frills, very, very basic streamlined saddles. So, about 2 years ago, I kind of said, I think I'm going to try this dressage thing, and then I kind of committed to it. And so I started on the search 2 years ago for a dressage saddle, but lo and behold, as we know, the dressage saddles have a lot of mass to them. They are big saddles, mostly. They have these big knee blocks and cantles that are really high. You know, you're sitting in this, I don't know, it's almost like a medieval saddle or something. Very different than hunter jumper. Granted, I would say the more recent hunter jumper saddles have a lot more bulk to them too. So, you know, it may be just more us older riders that are dealing with this switch. I don't know. But to me, the dressage saddles had way too much stuff and things for me to ever ride in them. I'm a big believer that you should be able to ride bareback. Bareback saddle pad is a good thing to use sometimes. But I should be able to go perform my dressage test bareback. The only reason for a saddle in my book is a spooky horse and you want stirrups, and that for sure is valid. But otherwise, I don't depend on a saddle to keep me in a position to do anything for me. I just want it out of my way. I want it out of my horse's way. That's another point, is that a lot of these dressage saddles, I was looking at them and they just have really bulky panels coming down around their shoulders, and I get it, saddle fitters and all that, but still, that's a lot of bulk, and I'm just thinking, why? So anyways, I started shopping around 2 years ago. I've sat in, I don't know, 25 saddles. I had some mailed to me. I had saddle fitters out, mid-range, high-end. I tried a lot, and I just finally realized all that stuff is not for me. I'd sit in these saddles, and some of them kind of amplified the bounce even. And I'm just thinking, I don't know how this works, but it's just making the whole thing bounce. Like I don't need these thick panels amplifying any of this that's already going on. My horse is already a big enough moving warm blood. I don't need I don't need more. But so anyways, I was on my Facebook feed, and lo and behold, one day the Macel popped up. And I thought, oh my God, holy hell. Someone has gone into my brain, reached in, and designed exactly the saddle I had in mind. It looks dressage-y, it has that look, but it doesn't have any of the stuff and things. It's like getting in a time machine back to 1960, which I love, 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 love. If you look back at the videos of older riders, 50s and 60s, you don't see all of these big bulky saddles and seat belts holding people in. They were riding beautifully without all that. And I'll say, just as beautifully. And some of the things I didn't see them doing in these videos was all this like going back and forth, outside stirrup, inside stirrup, dude, like throwing themselves around. Anyways, just an observation. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to commit to trying to force myself into one of these types of saddles. I just started going to the USEF, USDF shows in my hunt seat. I went to regionals and everything. The judges really don't care. Hunt seat, not a problem. But I did want to look more dressage-y, and I did want something nice and new. So I decided to try the Macel. It's not an easy one to get a hold of here. It's not like you can just call up a fitter and there's one in your backyard. Like there's tons of county and CWD and all that everywhere. But this saddle's a little harder to get a hold of. I just don't think it's as well known yet, potentially. So anyways, I wanted to share with you my review of this saddle. It's super positive. I've got some pictures and videos to show you here. I'm going to take you on a little tour of the saddle, tell you, my commentary on what I think about it. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I hope this is helpful specifically to other people like me who transition or are transitioning from hunter jumper into dressage. I think this saddle is a potential nice fit if it fits you and your horse. It did for me, so that's a good thing. So stay tuned. Thank you. So we have a Wolfgang Solo on the left, a very popular typical dressage saddle, and my Macel Samba S Chazot is on the right. So you can see the difference here. The cantle and the blocks and stuff are huge on the left, very minimalistic on the right for the Macel. So here is a close-up video of the saddle. As you can see, it's really striking. This one had an option of different stitching colors on it. So I picked one of the colors and figured it would liven it up a little bit. I really like the way it turned out. It's really attractive to look at, stunning. You can see that there's not much to the saddle as far as the panels go. It's very simplistic. Here it is next to a typical dressage saddle. You can see how less bulky it is. I know which one I want on my horse for sure. Taking a look at the side here, I do want to mention that the leather is really, really nice. Very nice quality of leather here on this saddle. Really love it. It's nice to sit in. Sometimes I don't even want to get off my horse because I'm so comfortable in it. There's the top view of the saddle. Coming back around there to the front. So if you squeeze those knee areas there, they're just a very light padding. There's no hard block to it. Very, very soft. My leg doesn't even really run into that. So that's really nice. Underneath the saddle here, you can see the panels. This is a monoflap. So you can see the girth coming down there. Again, short panels there, very minimalistic. Those billets are really buttery. They're very nice to work with. Here's the underside of the saddle. Again, you can see very simplistic, very straightforward. It's just a nice saddle to look at. When I looked at this, I just felt a sigh of relief that I wasn't going to put this giant bulky thing on my horse and have it between, his motion and myself. Just really nice. I will comment it's very easy to clean. Being a monoflap, that's a nice little benefit there. Not a lot of nooks and crannies to have to get into. Looking back at the side here, there's a little nail there. It says Macel on it. Close up here, across the top. It's just really an attractive saddle. The cantle is nice and low there. Nothing to run into you. There's a close-up on the stitching. I really, really like the stitching option on the saddle. I'm so glad I didn't go with just black. Now, the stirrups, I use regular stirrups here, and you can see there's not a lot to get in your way here. You can also buy their stirrups that don't have the buckle, so there's even less bulk in the way if you want. There's a picture of the cover it came with. Really, really nice. It's very plush on the inside. Also, this new saddle came with this really cool goodie basket of cleaners. So a cleaner, a conditioner, and then the little canister is something you kind of like, it's got a brush and you kind of paint it on any areas that may come in contact with sweat, which is really nice to protect the saddle. This stuff smells amazing, by the way. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe.